Welcome to another episode of the Glint Standard. And today we're talking about planning and what that does for advertising tactics. So here we go. Hey,
What's up?
how are you?
I'm good. Planning's always nice.
Good. I was going to ask, usually what's the one thing people forget when they are putting together an action plan?
The action plan is everything. You just go 90-0 and
Yeah.
you just start doing
And
with
you-
no plan, right?
Right, because
That's crazy.
you're just so energized and you
Yeah.
just want to move.
Yeah.
But planning is a huge part of an action plan, and it is not wasting time at all.
I agree.
And I think if more people did that, you
They have a
know,
song about that, right? The world to be a better place or
I
something
think
like
it
that.
could. I think it could. But there is such a thing. Jake always mentions that you can't do too much planning. So you really do have to know kind of where to, because sometimes you just need to act and then come back and refine. And I think he is valid in that thought. But you do need a little planning. Or, as I love to say, you do need to marinate. It's okay to marinate. That's my favorite thing to say. Like, it's okay to think about something for a couple of hours or overnight. And if nothing changes from your mindset, then you just run with it. But if something changes or something holds your attention, maybe you need to address it. So,
Yeah, I look at it three ways. I think you plan 1st. Sometimes you just have to react and trust. And then, what was my third point? Sometimes you can overplan.
Yeah.
You can do so much planning that you get nothing done.
Yes.
So knowing when to do each one is really important.
yeah.
But number one should be you should always start with needing to make a plan. Period. And it's a rare exception that you don't do that part of it.
Yeah, that's why it's important. The whole process just integrates. You have your plan, you attach it with action items, and then you attach that with the timeline.
Yeah.
And then that makes sure that you don't just stay.
I think
You don't stay in the, all the data and which we love, but you can't stay there. You have to see what it is and tell a story from it so that you can use it.
I think the important thing to think about too is no matter how big the task or how little, planning doesn't have to take a month.
Yeah, I know.
It can take 5 minutes. It
Yeah.
could take an hour. Just plan what you need, but don't feel like it's this big burden. Because of what you said earlier, right? It will save you so much time at the end from revisiting things, changing things, or adjusting.
Yeah,
And it'll keep you on track with what you're supposed to be accomplishing.
right.
So,
I think the biggest lesson that I learned about planning and strategic planning, specifically, is just my time at Unity One, and we had a strategic planning session every summer like clockwork, same weekend, and it was really good because it kept us in tune with what we thought needed to happen. And then also what was happening and where could we connect or figure out the next steps from that. And I think some people did feel like it was just extra and waste of time, but it just wasn't. It was a pulse check for all of us, and so.
and you revisit what you planned the year before
Yeah.
too. What did we accomplish, or
Yeah.
where did we adjust throughout the year?
Where are we on short-term goals? Where are we on long-term goals? It was awesome. So anyway, if no one can guess, we're talking about planning and advertising because yes, that happens. We could just run out in like a suit and and twirl some stuff or whatever, but that still takes planning.
It does.
Like, which intersection are you going to be? What are you going to wear? What does the signage look like? Is it going to be able to? So, I could go on further. But I think it would be best if we give our audience some do's and don'ts on this because that's really easy to digest. Things that we've learned along the way, or we've learned not to do along the way. So let's start with the good stuff. Some do's.
So I think do involve your team, right? If you've got personal tasks or independent tasks for things you need to supply for the rest of your team, you can manage your own plan of action, whatever. But if it's a big project, kind of keep it in the terms of advertising business, right? Involve your team.
Yeah.
Because no one's doing all of it by themselves. And when it's done, do have it in a place that it can be you can hand that off. So if you have a plan and a plan of action, everybody knows how it's going to come to you, when it's going to come to you. Now you got to do your part, and then it goes here. But everybody also understands the journey of what's being done and why your role in that is so important. That's what I would say is my number one do.
That is really important.
Yeah.
And very important. The group dynamic and just everyone collaborating and being involved and knowing, and then that way, like you said, they're part of the journey and they know how you got from plan A to plan B.
Yeah, and you think about the other thing. Do address challenges. Be a problem solver. So if we have a client that, and we've done this recently. We do it often, actually.
Trying to think. Okay.
A challenge a client is facing, whether they're paying us to help them with that or not. It's a challenge. We have smart people in our office that are focused on achieving goals. Sit down, spend 20 minutes, if just that. Spend an hour if you have to. Address the issue. Here are the challenges they're facing. Anybody have any unique thoughts? We're different ages. We have different skill sets. We all bring a different point of view. And we can take that and share it with the client. And a lot of times that takes them over the hump. Now you have high value. Because you truly are just a partner.
Yeah.
That's what you are, right?
And everything is integrated. Everything is connected. So
yeah, absolutely.
Even if it doesn't directly impact what we're doing or our deliverables, like you said, it impacts the organization, and that's how we like to think here at Glint, and I think that's what makes us special. Yeah. What about other do's? Let's talk about market data and research.
Okay. I know you love market research.
I do.
And I do as well.
It tells the story.
It's very easy to assume you know everything. I do it a lot, right? The data and the research will either confirm that you're on point, or confirm that you may need to rethink this just a little bit. Not just for you, but also for the client.
Yeah.
If you don't do that research and that data and you don't know your audience that well, you're making a lot of assumption. And assumption can be very expensive because what's the worst thing that could happen? You assume all of this. And it doesn't matter if 3 or 4 of you are on the same page or not. You're going to go start executing, but if you haven't addressed the audience or know the market you're going into, you're guessing. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Because when they go, it's not performing, that's on us.
Isn't it always us to think, that our intuition is right? We know.
I think ours is probably more so than most, only because we have so much experience in it.
So but when do we say, wait a minute, let me step back. I am not the all-knowing.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think that's funny, but I think we all get caught up in that sometimes.
We do.
And so then that's where your data and your market research and all of that comes in, just, makes it even and, just something that we can all get behind and accurate. More importantly, accurate.
Accurate is the key there, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. We have one client that we're working on, and we're looking at the data, and there are some surprises in it. It's interesting how your biases get in the way sometimes. You might say a certain location or a certain type of establishment, and you think, oh, it's that's what it is. And then you dig deep, and it changes. So I think it's a mistake for anyone not to look at some type of data that you didn't collect, that a third party collected, that is credible or from a credible resource, because it could really be the factor that makes you go over the hump, and get further and do a better job for your client.
And kind of running off of what you just said, I think it's important to do that, but don't just look at what it looks like today.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to be a business or start a business. Look, what is it supposed to be in 5 years, 8 years, 10 years? And try to project that forward a little bit, because that will help you make better decisions today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to do that sometimes.
Well, numbers scare people. I mean,
they do.
I'm a journalist. They scared me. They scare me. But that's okay, because as long as you're into the trends, as long as you can tell a story from the trends, that is really, really important. And I think that helps you not get lost in all of that. So
would you say it also takes a lot of the emotion out of it, so you're making a better decision?
Yeah. But it takes you from that moment when you're analyzing so much, because eventually the analyzing has to go somewhere. So it forces you to move forward, So trends are really, really important, and being able to identify those trends and turn them into action is even more so. But anyway, so enough about research and data. I think it's clear that we need it.
You need it.
And that we're telling everybody you need it. Don't just talk off of nothing, So what about networking? Networking, how does that help with planning and advertising planning, and how do other people?
We could probably do a whole episode just on networking and its value and its importance.
Mm-hmm.
The right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it, for sure. As you're learning, at the end of the day, just go. Get out there. Get very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It'll get better. It will. But your network of the people you know.
You won't look like you're crazy.
You will. And that's okay. You don't know what you're doing.
Does that hurt your reputation?
Anytime you start something, no, vulnerability does not hurt you.
Right.
But it's a scary thing to open up.
Mm-hmm.
If you are uncomfortable, you're probably doing something really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually the case.
Mm-hmm.
So just embrace that and run with it. Because I will tell you, you start doing that today, 10 years from now, you're going to have people in a network that are based on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for professional. I've been through a lot of experiences, are attached to a lot of different industries that I can tap into and go, hey, here's a challenge we're facing. Here's how we're thinking we're going to address it. What would your thoughts on that be?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you have to go with that, but you trust the feedback.
Yeah.
It's not about walking around and going, here's my business card, call me when you have a need. Here's what we do. We do. Okay. Help each other, right? Give first if you can. If everybody does that, it's better as well.
Or how about exchange? How about
Exchange
it's a
is a
two-way?
fair word. That's
it's
good.
a two-way communication that matters when networking. Like, you give, but you also receive well, or you allow the people who are giving to you. I mean, you allow that exchange. So I think that's really important too, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. And I think it's fair to say, if I help you, I do expect you to help me at some point. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I expect you to be there for me.
Yeah.
And that's all. Nothing more,
Yeah.
nothing less. Just know that's there. And that seems a little selfish, but that's part of what networking is about. You are trying to grow network of businesses and people that can help further you. That's the whole point of it, further your company, right? So let's don't act like that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Now here's a question for you in networking.
Okay. What are you gonna ask me?
So there are millions of networking groups and associations and all that stuff. How many do you think are too many? At some point, that connection you build through your network becomes a trusted, viable source. So if you're a part of 10, and you do find somebody who has a need, who do you give that?
Yeah, I would not associate a number at all.
Okay.
It is about what I receive and what I give, and that, that exchange of services. I do something for you, you do something for me. When those opportunities are not there, then that's not a group that's valuable.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I could not put a number on how many networking groups at all. And because I believe that networking is not networking. It is doing a service together and the relationship that you create while you're accomplishing the service. And if you're really good, as you are building relationships with people, you will hear where they need help. You will hear what their problems are, and you must insert yourself in that conversation because you're building trust by creating that relationship, but you're also listening. And perhaps you or your business is the solution.
That's a great point. I think
Yeah.
that's exactly how you should look at it. It's well said.
Yeah. If somebody wrote on their resume all of the networking groups they were part, I would be like, I'd be like,
Okay, it happens for sure.
God, like, ugh. And you don't. You're an amateur. You're an amateur.
Do you just meet people, or do you actually do any work?
I know, exactly. Because all I can think, unless somebody proves otherwise,
Yeah.
in my head, it's the, like you just said, the business card. Hey,
There's really no meaning or depth to it, right?
no, and there's no trust because I don't know you.
Right.
You know, I love the concept of leads groups in chambers, but you have to do it a certain way. And way back in the day, aging myself, Saginaw did it in a very special way, and I still have relationships with the people that were in my leads group.
That says a lot.
We became like a family, and maybe it was just the chemistry was on, but it was just the best experience. It was definitely not going to a bar and all of that. It was sitting down to a good meal, venting sometimes,
Okay. I think that's
sharing.
important.
Yeah, and it was really cool. Okay, but I could go on and on about networking.
But, you talk about business, and we talk about spending time and planning and all those things. It's a very important piece of it, because we always forget that we're still just people connecting. That's all we are.
And you have to have a little bit of networking within your planning phase of your project. So that's always important to remember. Okay, let's go to a don't.
Don't.
What are your thoughts on don'ts?
Don't just wing it and think it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Just can't do it. You have to be realistic about what you're trying to achieve. Listen to others who have been successful, haven't been successful. Find your path in that and move forward. But just winging it, it rarely works out. You got to get so lucky.
There's a lot of high-powered people, Craig, who wing it.
And it works
they
out.
brag about winging it.
They do.
So
but out of all those people, how many do you really know that are successful, other than just boasting they're successful? And it's rare that it works. So you can't, don't
that's a good
fall on
point.
that, right?
Yeah.
If you plan, you do the do's, you have a better chance of being successful and achieving what you want to achieve. You just do.
That's a really good point, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you really look how many are truly successful.
Oh, I'll tell you they are.
They're all good at propaganda, but beyond that, what does it say? That's true. Well, you wrote some notes because, y'all, we write notes before we sit down and talk. But there was a note about neglecting legalities.
Yeah, so legalities, taxes, things like that, right? This really leans on if you're starting a business. Let me just take that, because it could go a million different directions. Contracts, you've got all these things, right? Don't spend so much time on it that it overwhelms you to start. Right? You can learn some of this as you go, but just understand it's there.
I think people need to hear or get permission to learn
just
as you go. I think, because I think everybody comes into a situation thinking they have to know everything or something disastrous is going to happen. So I like that you just said that.
Yeah, I mean, don't go in winging it. That means no planning, no plan of action. I'll figure out when it hits me. Taxes is not something you want to be joking with, right? You need to understand those are going to hit you. You need to learn about those. You need to get contracts in place to cover yourself, to protect yourself, to protect your employees, protect your family. All those things become really important, you know. And as a business evolves, those become more important. There are different kind of contractual obligations, and because the money's bigger, and there's more risk involved.
Yeah.
So you want to get an attorney involved on those types of things. You don't necessarily have to have an attorney on day one. But know that if you don't, you have to have great advice and at least have something to start protecting yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out. But at the end of the day, you know, if there's going to be a legal challenge, it's going to be a legal challenge. You want to mitigate cost for yourself and for the other party. because you're both just wasting money at that point.
Yeah.
Usually you can completely avoid conflict by picking up the phone and talking and coming to a resolution, right? And moving on that way.
That makes sense.
It's the best solution for everyone. Otherwise, it's I don't know, it's a tough way to go, but you're going to hit some things you don't know how to deal with. That's okay. You deal with it when it comes.
I think
some things you plan for.
Yeah. And there's no such thing as being fully prepared.
You'll be fully prepared and never launch.
So prepare to not be.
Yeah. I think this perfect ship with all this stuff on it, we're ready to go. Well, I don't know the weather yet, and I'm going to wait for this, and I'm going to wait for this. And there's perfect storms. Now all your stuff that's on the boat is old, and it's broken down, and you got to replace. Once we replace everything, we're ready to go again. And it's a cycle that never ends, and you never move. That's why entrepreneurship and business ownership and things like that are very challenging and tough. They're not for everybody, and that's why. So,
wow, that was good.
Have some grace, move forward a little bit, have some fun with it, because that's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Be okay failing. Just learn and keep moving.
True. Okay, last thing though, overspending and overborrowing. So this goes into the financial piece and having budgets and all of that good stuff, because they could hurt you. Overspending, definitely.
Yeah, it definitely can.
So actually, a good question is, is there an occasion when overspending is a good thing?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Right.
When you know what?
You've done your research, you've done your planning.
Okay.
And you're trying to jump on a trend, and everything's risky. Everything's risky. You try to mitigate risk. Sometimes you go high risk, sometimes you go low risk. I hope to land in the middle. If you see an opportunity and you're not budgeted for it, sometimes you got to shift budgets, sometimes you got to get a loan, sometimes you need to do what you need to do to make it happen. But you've already had your planning done, you've assessed everything, and it's going to make you very uncomfortable, but your gut's going to tell you this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, because you
still might fail, but
you've laid the
absolutely
foundation.
Do it. I think the other thing is with employees and people. You see somebody who's good, can problem solve, personality's right, they've got good morals, they're a good person that's smart.
Yeah.
Find a way to get them.
Yeah.
Because you don't run into them very often. You hope they have a skill set that aligns with something you need.
That is so true.
But even if they're not quite there, if they're smart and they're good, figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, you don't
spend money on that.
You don't run into people like that.
Yeah, and you may not be in a hiring position, but you run into that person and you can't let them go. You need that person.
Yeah. For
whatever that is.
And of course, in your planning process, you identify different priorities for your project or for your business or whatnot. And one of those might be people management or more resources into people management. So then you know that your decision is a good one.
You feel good about it, yeah.
And that it connects with what you're doing in the future for your effort or for your business.
So jumping off of that's a really good point. Feel good about it, but commit to it, especially if it's people.
Yeah.
This is not, let's try it for 30 days.
Yeah.
That's not what let's try it for a year. Right? If it really falls apart, you've given it 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take a lot for it really not to take anything further. If you really feel like you have the right person, it works out. It usually does.
Yeah.
It's a much better way to go about it. So I'd say that's where you can overspend. But you can also, what you have to remember, you can shift the budget. Doesn't mean you have to put more in.
It is fluid. Yes. Yes, it is fluid. I think a lot of people make the mistake of creating a budget for their project or whatever. And it is what it is. Yes, that's great. But
it's a great plan.
But a budget is a plan.
It is.
And so it is, like I said, fluid. It might change. It might morph. Different things their different allocations or line items might shift a little bit. And that's okay. I think somebody needs to say, it's okay.
It is 100% okay.
It's okay.
I've yet to have any budget that hasn't moved.
Yes,
That's
right?
not happened yet.
Yeah.
When it does, like, ooh, did we do the right thing? Why didn't it move?
So I think we've probably overwhelmed our audience on planning.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But I think it's worth it if you can glean something from our conversation. then we would have done our jobs. Or if you spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes on really thinking through an idea that you have, I think we've achieved what we were supposed to achieve.
That is the most valuable thing that we might have just said.
Yeah.
Spend 5, 10, 20 minutes
to just
stop,
chill out,
grab a cup of coffee, think about it.
Yeah.
Just stop and think. Be okay with it. It's very valuable.
It is not wasteful.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
All right, y'all, that's what we have for you. You can watch us or listen to us on any social media platform. We'd love to hear your feedback on what we just talked about, or go back into our repository and listen to us talk about other great things. And let's connect. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Glint Standard. You can see more episodes here, or click the logo below to follow our channel. And please hit the thumbs up if you like this episode.